everyone, it's Gina from orchidandopal.com, and today I am back with the December 2022 Bargain Bead Box monthly subscription to open up with you all. This one is such a great value and I highly recommend it for most people who are interested in all types of beading because it ships to your door if you're in the US for just $19.49. And every month we get a variety of gemstone beads in addition to coordinating findings and other types of glass beads and materials as well. I have a coupon code if you'd like to try them out. It's Opal2 and that will save you $2 off your very first month. And I will leave that as well as the link directly to the subscription right down below the video. And now let's go ahead and get right into it. And it looks like our theme this month is called Earth and Elegance. Every month that theme will change and we'll get a different color palette, so we're not getting the same things over and over again. And it talks a little bit about what we're about to see today. It looks like we're going to check out some red jasper in various shapes and sizes, some garnet antique copper findings, so we're in for a treat. And every month on this insert, you'll also find a 30% off coupon code that's good for use at their sister site, beadboxbargains.com. You can find lots of great deals and tons of other beading materials over there that are already at really good prices, so that 30% discount makes for some really great deals. They also have a monthly contest. If you make something from the contents, you can enter to randomly win some credit to their sister store as well, so be sure to take advantage of that. And let's take a look at the other side. So here's the list of everything that's included if you need to refer back to it for any reason. And also you can see that there's going to be 16 different types of items that we're going to go through. Really awesome for a subscription box that is $19.49, making things just a little over $1 per item, which is even better when you consider this subscription includes gemstone beads. So let's peek at our contents before we get right into it. And here is that rich red, some of our red jasper that they mentioned, and some of those copper colored findings and additional materials to go along with those. Really looking forward to digging into this with you, so let me get organized and then we'll take a close-up look at everything one at a time. Our first bag contains a 13-inch strand of 4mm crystal bicone beads in copper metallic. So we start out with this shiny metallic glass bicone bead strand, which will be a really helpful supplement to the other beads and components in our box, and also goes really well with the tone of findings that we're going to see, not to mention the reddish jasper. In bag number 2, we have a meter of 2.5mm steel Rolo jewelry chain. So as usual, we have a generous quantity of chain, which we typically see in these boxes to go along with our other metal components, all of which will be the same color. And the Rolo chain is a very usable, not too big, not too small sort of a size, with the links that are big enough where you could wire wrap directly onto them if you'd like to, or even use segments of it just as pieces of extender chain. Our third bag contains a 15-inch strand of 6x4mm crystal rondelle beads in matte magma. This is another generous quantity, and I just love the variations of this warm orangey tone. Some spots looking a little bit more reddish and some spots looking a little bit more golden. Also with that sort of AB coating that is over top of the glass. And since they're matte, it's a little bit more subtle and frosty, but we do get those hints of blue and purple and pink and other sorts of colors that pop up on different parts of these faceted rondelles. Our fourth bag contains 10 pieces of 10x15mm brass lever back ear wires. It's always nice to get something different than the standard fishhook ear wires, I think, and it's also great that we get enough to use these in 5 different pairs of earrings. Bag number 5 contains 10 pieces of 8mm crystal faceted cylinder beads in light peach AB. These have the most gorgeous shimmer. As you can see when I'm moving them, lots of reflective areas with those facets going around the outside of these glass barrels, and the addition, of course, of that AB coating giving us those flashes of iridescence over top of this neutral, creamy, very light peach tone. Bag number 6 contains 6 pieces of 19 by 16mm patterned coin charms. These are in a flat disc shape with a little bit of dimension that you can see in the center, that sort of diamond that is raised against the flat surface. And I have one of these charms flipped over to the back so you can see what the back looks like. There's also some additional swirling detail showing up on the front of these round charms. Bringing in more of our metallic, in bag 7 we have 4 pieces of 25 by 22mm patterned coin and teardrop chandeliers. So again, I have one flipped over to the back so you can see what that looks like. And these coordinate perfectly with those coin charms. You can see that these have that raised pyramid-like shape, similar to what we saw in the charms, giving them a little bit of dimension against the flat overall design. We have some additional details on the front, and then you can see how there are 5 holes at the bottom, making these great to use as a chandelier or fringe earring component, or to use to separate different strands in a multi-strand necklace. Our 8th bag contains a 36 by 26mm teardrop chandelier focal. And here's a closer look at that one. So this would be perhaps a really cool pendant necklace component, maybe to go along with a coordinating pair of earrings using those other chandelier components for that purpose. I also have a tutorial that I did a little while back to show you how I've done a coordinating chandelier earrings and necklace set using a component that was similar in style to this. So if you want to, you can check that out. I will try to remember to link that in the corner. This also has a lot of detail, with some of the spots of the antique copper being a bit darker and then some of the raised areas being a little bit brighter. And this one has, it looks like 7 loops at the bottom. Of course, that large loop towards the top in the center where you could add a bead and hang that inside like a frame, and then the loop at the top. And here's a look at the back of the component. This one's not double-sided, so it's just pretty much flat back there. In bag number 9, we have 3 sets of 18 by 13mm classic banded toggle clasps. So you can see already that we can make so many different things from just the contents of one of these subscription packages, because they send very generous quantities, not just 1 or 2 of a lot of different things. And again, in this case, with the simple antique copper toggle clasps that'll coordinate really well, we get 3 of those. And also be sure to check out the video that I have done sharing with you 10 different ways or ideas for using toggle clasps other than as a clasp component, perhaps to get you thinking about some other ideas if you need some inspiration. We have more beads to come, but bag number 10 contains more components. We have 40 pieces of 6mm scalloped bead caps. And just as it says, we have the scalloped or floral-like design showing up on the top of these bead caps, which will frame out some of our gemstone beads beautifully and give those an added metallic touch in between these stone and glass materials. All right, in bag number 11, this is our 30mm red jasper donut pendant. So one of our main focals for this collection of goodies. And in many cases, that's what I start designing around, so I'm always excited to see what our focal components are for the month. So So here is this beautiful stone pendant. You can see the different color varieties that show up, not just that reddish burnt orange tone of the jasper, but also some of these other little neutrals that you find in this type of stone that pop up. And some of them may have some larger striations of color. Mine is pretty monotone for the most part, except for that area down below. I'm excited to design something around this pendant. Our 12th bag contains the last of our metallic components. We have 10 grams of 5 by 4 millimeter corrugated spacer beads. These are simple and beautiful. These small spacers have the fluted design with the rib detail around the inner portion of the spacer beads. And it rounds out our metallic components, giving us a lot of things we can put together and make some beautiful jewelry with. And our last 4 bags contain beads. We start with 13. It contains 6 pieces of 16 by 12 millimeter red jasper beryl beads. So more red jasper that coordinates with our other material, and these are really substantial. They have a great weight and feel, lots of surface area to see some of those subtle variations that break up that red jasper. The holes are drilled cleanly, they're in really good shape, and are very smooth and polished. What do we have here? In bag 14, this contains a 15-inch strand of 2 millimeter micro-faceted garnet beads. These are teeny tiny. It's amazing that they were able to be faceted and have the hole drilled in there like they do, being the little baby 2 millimeter size that they are. And these have more of a purplish tone rather than a reddish tone that we usually see with the garnet, although it does have that purplish string running through, so perhaps they'll take on a little bit more of a reddish cast when that is removed. But either way, that does add a different touch of color to this palette, and they are so sparkly. Just look at how they reflect under the light. And they're one of those items that I love putting together with chandelier earrings or fringe earring components, which I have tutorials for as well, because they just dance along the strand and show off that sparkle. In bag 15, we have a 7.5-inch strand of 10 millimeter red jasper round beads. So here we have even more of these substantial red jasper stone beads, this time in the larger 10 millimeter size, which is a little bit on the chunkier side for round beads, but also provides us with a different size to work with than we have so far. So we're getting a good variety there. And again, a lot to work with an entire strand, all of them being just slightly different, but just like the others, very smooth, polished, and in really good shape. And our final bag, number 16, contains a 15-inch strand of 8 millimeter red jasper round beads. Just look at that awesome strand. These have a little bit more variation in them as well, with some of those extra neutrals that are popping up in various beads. This is another very generous strand and a smaller size of these red jasper to work with. You could even do a graduated size necklace using the different sizes of the beads that they've provided, just as one idea, but we certainly have a lot to play with. So that wraps it up for our Earth and Elegance bargain bead box for December 2022. Another fantastic job and an excellent value, if I do say so myself. I haven't seen any other beading subscription out there that comes close to the value in terms of the price with free shipping in the US and the addition of all of these stone materials, not to mention the supplemental glass beads that we have and the coordinating findings. So I think you can see that just based on this box, if you're not very familiar with the bargain bead box, that you'll be able to make multiple pieces of jewelry just from 1 month's collection. Don't forget you can use that coupon code OPAL2 to save $2 off your first month if you'd like to try them out. Just follow that link right down below. And if you're looking for inspiration for what to do with the contents of your boxes, you can check back in the playlist that I have for my finished jewelry updates. because this is one of the boxes that I have consistently played around with for the past over 4.5 years now, so there's lots of content and ideas in those videos that might spark something and get your creativity going. Not to mention all sorts of tutorials going back during that time as well. So as usual, I look forward to playing around with these contents I didn't get a chance to play around with last month's, which was unusual for me. But like I had explained in another video, I was doing something that I rarely do, and that was to take a little bit of a break from the creative process. That's something that I need to force myself to do from time to time. And now I feel even more refreshed and ready to dig in once again. So stay tuned. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you do if you haven't already. Go ahead and give the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it and if it was helpful for you. And feel free to leave a comment down below as well. Let me know what you think of this palette or anything you saw today. And feel free to share the video wherever you like. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I love having you here and I so appreciate you watching. That's all I have for now. I hope to see you all again real soon. And until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, happy beading.